Hey, this is Okay, back again, coloring from Tales from the Crypt Keeper, Halloween Edition 2017. I am putting the finishing touches on this comic, wrapping it all up. This is one of the last backgrounds that I have to color, and you are about to see it colored. Alright, so we did a video yesterday on how to digitally color a scene in nature, and we're going to be doing that again. Same basic scenery. We're gonna pick out, something like a morning sunrise color, sunny skies, sunrise. Make it a little bit brighter, actually, something around this. Okay, that's good. Now we're gonna work from the background to the foreground. Let's see. So this will be a rooftop right here. We'll get just kind of a light gray. And this comic is now 15 pages, and I am going to be moving straight from this comic into Tales from the Crypt Keeper issue 7. It's going to be 2 stories, and I already have I've got the next 2 stories started, so it should go a little faster than this one went. We're doing a bush right here. So we're going to do kind of a neutral green. We'll do a little bit more blue in it. There we go. We want it to feel like it's in the background, pretty far away. So the further away things get, the more blue they get. It's like atmosphere and stuff. So when we're doing a closer bush, we're going to do something a little bit more green. A little more energy and life to it, and that will be our foreground bush right there. Lots of bushes in this comic. So we'll do an even closer bush right here, and it'll be pretty light lime green, a little too dull, so get a little more color. There we go. Bush number 3. I've been watching the series Dexter as I have colored this comic. To give you an idea of how long it takes to color a comic, a 15-page comic, for me, I have watched all 7 seasons of Dexter, and I'm on the last season. I'm actually rewatching this series. I've seen it maybe once or twice before, but it's a good series. If you've never watched it, I recommend giving it a chance and watching it. Alright, here we go. So we've got those bushes colored. Now I'm going to go ahead and block in some of the rest of what we're going to be seeing. It's going to be this gray kind of sidewalk thing leading down to the road. I don't know what you call that. A foyer sidewalk or front porch. Anyway, that will be there. We don't have to do a very good job, but I wanted to show you also, this is a pencil layer. I just jotted some pencils down and kind of made not so opaque, or yeah, more transparent. So let's get an even more intense green for a closer bush number 4. Alright, there is bush number 4. It's the tall bush. We're going to have some undergrowth. We're going to make that kind of a dark brownish gray, like up here. Alright, so there we go. It'll look like a tree almost right there. And then for the grass, let's pull a color from up here. Let's see. We need to start light first on grass. Let's start a little bit lighter than that. A little bit stronger green. Alright, so we're starting light, and then we'll put dark and that kind of thing on top. So that is our basic background right there, and we'll work from this. Actually, let's do a darker back over here. I don't know, a darker back. This is kind of the underbrush underneath the bush. There's all these shadows under this. There's going to be some trees going, and we'll also have some rocks, kind of landscaping. There we go. Landscaped. A little bit smaller. Alright, now let's work from the background to the foreground. I was thinking, what is this back here? We did not do that. Alright, I'm going to talk to myself for a second here. I was thinking bush right here, and then kind of maybe tall bushes in the neighbor's yard, so we might want a fence there. For a fence, we'll need a kind of a neutral brown, I guess. Something like this. Alright. And we don't want to do too much we don't want to put too much detail or effort into it right now, because we've got to go back over it. We've got to work from the back to the front, to the side, from the left to the right, from the side to the side. Alright, so here we go. Let's first get a gradient going in the sky. We'll get a little bit wider. We'll just have the sunrise coming from the right. Our light source over here shows light coming this way. So that's good. Let's get a little bit more orange going in the back of the sky. A little bit of a soft orange. Okay, there we've got a good sky. Alright, it's coming in on the bush a little bit, like that. Let's go ahead and get rid of the penciling, because we don't need that anymore. We've got it basically drawn out here. Okay, let's zoom in. Get back onto the color layer. Let's get a more specific brush. And as we were doing that gradient, we kind of got a little gradient on the roof, which I like. Let's get a little more gradient on the roof. Okay, so there is our roof over there, kind of in the distance. And now we'll go with these bushes over here, and they look kind of blurry as the lines intersect and cross over. So let's go with a darker color for the bush over here. Let's get a different brush. I'm gonna work with the 424, make it a lot smaller. A little bit bigger, get some different size strokes in there. Stroke, stroke, stroke. Okay, a little bit too dark. Let's get a little bit of light. Okay, got some light, some darks. All right. You see, it looks like it works with the two colors, foreground and background for color. Let's sneak a little bit into the overlap of the fence, and that way we can do the fence now and have a little bit of the bush in the background. Alright, let's do some grass coming up over the lines. It needs to be weed eated. Get that weed eater and fix that. Alright, so let's give it some texture now. Oh, too much texture. Let's undo a lot of that. It helps to have a really big it helps to have this brush really big to get good texture. That's just something I've found as I've worked with it. The other brush I will use for grass is this 250 brush. Let's do it smaller than that. Now let's come in with a brighter, lighter brush. And this is actually kind of I don't know, it's giving me a very strong kind of a muddy, strong muddying. I don't like that. So let's kind of give the fence a little bit of a gradient. I'm going to use this as a big brush. And do some upstrokes. Remember to always stroke it. Caress it and stroke it. Alright, now we're going with the brushes for the stair. And I don't really like how that line intersects so closely right there. So what we're going to do is we need to either bring this down, and I'll do that with a stamp tool. Actually, that was too close. I'm going to do it right there. That way it'll be pretty close down here. And now we can come in and give it a stronger line up here. Alright, there we go. Alright. See how that goes. Let's do some horizontal striping right there. This feels weird right there. I'm gonna have to come back and redo that, but let's not get bogged down with it right now. Okay, next is the bush up here. Let's get a darker brush. Let's use this one and turn a flow on low. Let's get it more sporadic, give it some shape overall. Okay, now for a little bit brighter, a little more yellow in it. Alright, so now let's use a different brush. Which one? Why don't we just go back to this one, make it large. Alright. Actually, it feels like it needs to be blurred or something. It doesn't feel right to me. Alright, that looks like a tree a little bit. What might work is if I come with this and no. Let's not. Alright, next let's do this bush right here. We're gonna go over the sidewalk just a little bit. Let's pick a color from up here. You know what the problem is? This is too small. We need a bigger brush. Okay. Let's go with the next gradient in the color. We're gonna go a little bit darker. Oh, it's looking a little bit messy. Let's turn flow up. Get some real sharp definition in these. Alright, now let's go for a darker. That's too big. I'll undo a couple of those. Make a a little smaller. Alright, so the general shape of the bush is not going to have too much of that black coming in through there. Gonna keep it back in the recesses. Alright. Let's see. I feel like there's some multiply layer on there, so I'll shape it a little bit more. Okay. And now let's come on to this bush over here. Since we've got the brush out, let's see if we can just hop on over here. Alright, some of that bush color. Alright, now we need to get a bigger brush, I think. And I know I'm overextending a little bit. We'll fix that in a second. Let's get this over here. And build it up stronger. Let's see, where does that end? I feel like that bush probably ends right there. That's going to be a problem. We're not going to know exactly where that bush ends, so we got to give it a darkness over here that helps us know it's a new bush. Alright, let's go a little bit blue. Blue down here, and last thing, we'll do a little bit of this color. Let's tone it down though. Alright, let's go for a less opacity, so it's not gonna jump out too hard. Kind of a soft reflection. Okay, now it looks okay for us to do that kind of thing. Let's see if we can just find a brush that will kind of give us an impression of just some dark stuff going on back here. Let's see. I don't want it to be solid color, but let's go with kind of a chaotic undergrowth right back here. We do want some resemblance of these little twigs and sticks holding up the bush, so we'll try to come up with it a little bit. Again, I've got the opacity on really low. I'm going to turn that up a little bit higher so it shows up better. Alright, just a few of these. We're not going to get carried away. And now we'll kind of go to a complete black. Cut them off a little bit. Alright, that's good enough. I don't want it to be too detailed or anything. So we're going to move on to, let's do the sidewalk now since it's in the background. We'll move up to this brush again. We'll keep a little bit of this texture from the bush. Just have a little bit of it peeking through. Okay, now we have stairs. Stairs to the front door. Okay. Now, let's make sure it all connects well. Let's give the stairs definition. So let's say they come down right here. We're painting the back side of them. Okay, that's a different color because the opacity is not at 100%. Now it is. Let's get that redrawn. Alright, so we want to kind of give it a, let's see, like a, what's this called? Like a, the illusion that these are three-dimensional stairs. So I'm going to come in here, we're going to give each little definition, each face of the shape a different tint. Or this one will extend over here. Let's see. Alright, now let's just pull this over and say there's a height to the sidewalk right here. And let's give it a perspective line. A little bit of an outline, not much. Okay, now some texture. Ooh, a little too much down there. Alright, now a little bit darker. Oops. Okay. Ready to move on to the grass. Do some impressionistic rocks. Really just want some basic shape going on over here. Twist the brush around a little bit. Now we're gonna emulate the grass colors from the top. Let's get a different brush. We'll start with 250 brush. This is nice for just putting down little textures that we'll build on top of. And we want to give the foreground a little bit of a smaller brush. Now she's going to have shadow behind her, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Really small brush for a narrow path. I like this brush for doing grass like this, and we will come in with another grass brush. I think it's the default grass brush they give you in when you download Photoshop. And we'll kind of build on top of this texture with a few very recognizable grass strokes. And let's see, here we go. Here's the grass stroke, grass brush. This uses both the foreground and the background color, so we're going to pick a very similar color. And what size are we? We want a small size, a little bit bigger, too big. The other thing is I might turn on a low flow, go to about a 20, a little bit higher. And if you see, I'm kind of trying to have the tops of the grass extend over the darker areas, and I'm just kind of putting in, kind of stippling around with the brush. And as you get further away, you want smaller brushes. And now I'm doing horizontal strokes to kind of build perspective. Okay. Want some of that grass to extend up on top of that sidewalk line. Might do a little bit bigger in a couple places. Okay, and this is a low flow, just to remind you. Alright, let's get that 250 brush and do one more run through on a couple of spots. Kind of blend it in, not make the brush stand out too much. Okay, just going haphazard with the brush over here. Alright, well, let's zoom out for a second and see what we've got. This bush right here is pretty bright. We could always use a multiply layer. I really like multiply layers. We could come in with a kind of a bluish overture and kind of tone down this bush, give it some directional quality to it, direct the reader's focus over here. Yeah, see that? I like that. Let's go back to that and let's get a brush. Let's see. We'll go with 250, sure, why not? The same grass kind of paintbrush we were using earlier. We'll use it on the bush now. Let's darken this up back here a little bit. Alright, let's see if we can. I'm going to erase the multiply layer when it gets onto the sidewalk over here, but I'm going to use it to kind of darken up this fence back here. We're going to kind of make it hazy back there. And now we erase it on the sidewalk. Lightly erase it on the grass. Okay, there is our background. I can't really see anything else I want to do to it. I do need to fix this little gap we've got over here. So I'm going to go down to our normal brush, fill that in. Oh, the flow is on low, so I turn the flow up. And I'm working on the multiply layer. That's why it doesn't look like anything's happening. Okay. So this is a little too much outline for me. I'm going to come in here, correct that, correct this a little bit, correct a little bit over here. Little final touches. And you know, I'm not crazy about this area over here, but I think we spent enough time on this background to call it finished. I've got 2 more backgrounds to do, and that's all. I've got a cover to do and put out, so stay tuned. Stay on the lookout for Tales from the Crypt Keeper Halloween Edition 2017. This is Okayokayokok, and I'm out. I'll catch you later.